Okay, thank you. We will call this meeting to order, 6 p.m., January 26th. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Here. Councilmember Klein?
Here.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Here.
Councilmember Hilton?
Here.
Councilmember Marks? Councilmember Ramirez?
Here.
Mayor Bozo?
Here. City's clerks reporting on the agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This agenda was posted on Thursday, January 22nd at 3:09 p.m.
Thank you very much. I'd like everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing for the invocation after. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take it away, Trevor.
Mayor, Council, great to be here with you tonight. Please bow with me as we say our prayer. Dear Father, we can't make sense of what's happening in the world right now. This world is full of trouble, anger, sadness, crying, and pain. Wars and atrocities in Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, and other places we haven't even heard about. Worries and concerns about economy, immigration, healthcare, food insecurities, immigration and protests around the cities and in our country. Violence and deaths in Minneapolis. And here at home, a terrible tragedy that has shocked us and shattered our image of safety and changed several lives forever. God, I need the comfort only your presence can provide, for you are good, even though things around us are crazy and heavy. I trust that you one day will do away with all these things. Walk with us, Lord, as we answer your call to be peacemakers. Increase our compassion, our generosity, and our hospitality for the least of your people. Give us the courage, the patience, the self-honesty, and the gentleness of spirit that are needed in a world filled with turmoil and terror. I look forward to the day you return to make everything new. I know these realities are only temporary, for you are faithful to your word. May our faith be strengthened by the knowledge that you rule now and for all eternity. May the peace of the Lord be with all of us. Amen.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 1.6, orders of the day. Orders of the days, item 8.2 will be pulled from the agenda and will be presented to council on the next council meeting of February 9th. Employee introductions, we have none. So we're going to jump right to public comment. This is public comment for any items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. So, Clerk, how many public speakers we have right now?
We currently have 15 speakers.
Okay, so that'll be 2 minutes each, please.
16.
And go ahead and name the first
Okay,
three.
I'm going to call up Cindy Nunez, Brenda Hogue, and Graham Melville.
Do you tell me when to begin? And okay.
Hold on 1 second. Is there any reason why that screen's not on? Sorry. Thank you, Cindy. One moment. So, Cindy, before you get started, that screen will go on here in a moment. And sometimes when people are speaking, they do glance up there. You will see that timer will be starting off at 2 minutes and ticking off, so you have a chance to see that.
Okay.
And if you go past, don't worry, I'll remind you. It's okay, you'll be listening for a bell.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So
Okay.
Go ahead, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members, as well as community. My name is Cindy Nunez. I live on Lopez Way, near Las Animas Elementary School. As you know, January 16th, 2026, two parents were struck by a teen driver crossing the street after dropping off their child at school. One parent died at the scene and the other one passed away a few days later. This happened in my residential neighborhood that I call home. A neighborhood that we chose because it's quiet, it's family-oriented, and it feels safe. I want to be clear. I am not standing here out of fear. I am grounded, I'm present, and I truly believe that God is watching over me. And we know our God is not a God of fear. But I'm here out of love for my community, for the families who have lost so much through this tragedy and to advocate for enhanced safety measures so that something like this will never happen again. In the days following this incident, I organized a neighborhood petition where we have over 300 signatures, and I also invited residents to share comments. As I was reading the comments, my neighbors said that they have almost been hit themselves walking through the neighborhood. Cars that are speeding through the areas, avoiding stop signs, all around the school area. Since this incident, I'm also seeing noticeably less foot traffic. The community's in fear. Not because they want to be, but because they don't feel safe. This is not how a school neighborhood should function. While we may not know every detail of this tragedy and how it occurred, we do know that there are proven ways to reduce risk. I am asking the city to prioritize enhanced pedestrian safeties around Los Animas and all Gilroy elementary schools, junior high and high schools, specifically clearly marked and highly visible crosswalks, solar-powered pedestrian beacon lights, speed calming measures such as speed bumps, stating safety zone areas, and then painted roadway warning signs on the ground that says school zone. In the past weekend, I was in Modesto and I saw safety measures constantly all over the school areas. Our Gilroy families deserve the same.
Cindy, that's 2 minutes already,
Okay.
so sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you for hearing
Thank you very
me.
much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I believe Brenda's next. Thank you.
Good
Go ahead.
evening. My name is Brenda Hogue. I live right down the street from Cindy. I am a teacher, and I also work at all the schools in Gilroy Unified School District as a sub, and I work at Los Animas all the time because I live right across the street at the Luchesa intersection. And so I took it upon myself with Cindy the last 2 days to go out there and help cross the kids and the families. And Cindy and I just got vests and we just walked families, and you saw their shoulders go down and you saw the look on their faces in just the 2 days of us showing that we care for our community and we want to do what we can. And so we're going to do it until these things get put into measure. We're hoping that can happen so that we don't have to have this conversation again about losing another life from something so tragic that could be prevented with just safety measures. And I appreciate everyone's time. And I recently moved from San Jose to Gilroy. My husband's a police officer, and he works for the Sheriff's Department, and I am a teacher, so I want to do what's best for the community, and that's why I moved out of the Bay Area to Gilroy to have a nice, calm environment like I love Gilroy. I've only lived here 2 years, but in that time, I love every minute of it. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Graham, please.
Hi, I'm Graham. I represent a bunch of Christians from different churches in the area that work with the homeless. I just want you to imagine you're going on a camping trip out of town. The first day is fun. You've got your tent, your car, your cooler, a bathroom nearby. Then the second day, your car's stolen and you've got no theft insurance. The restrooms are locked. No one picks up your trash. You're stuck there, not for weekends, but months. Now you need to go to the bathroom. Where do you go? There's no toilet, no sink, no shower. You're sick or disabled on a waiting list. You can't speed up and you can't reach the people that need to care for you. You're hungry, but the nearest food is miles away and you have no transportation because there's nowhere and no one to take you. That's what we're asking people to survive in our town. If we take away this one organised, supported place where our neighbours in Gilroy can stay, what's left? Right now, this piece of land, something different is happening. People who are disabled and dealing with mental illnesses have stable support. They have regular garbage collection, individuals and charities bringing food, tents, tarpaulins, supporting them, making sure it all keeps clean and it's nice. Because they're in one place, it's possible to keep the area clean, to manage the waste, to prevent trash from piling up in our creeks, sidewalk, roadwalks and shoulders. If it's now possible to know them by name, to help them and move them step up the list and get out of their situation. When they're scattered all over town, the problem doesn't disappear. They just become less visible. They show up as human waste left around town, in people's yards, in people's doorways. Without a central place, it's almost impossible to provide constant food, hygiene, or support. We're not solving anything by dispersing them. We're only making it harder for them to survive and harder for the city who love them to serve them. These aren't those people, they're our neighbours. Some are veterans, some have worked at school, caught bad breaks, sickness, job loss, rent increases, trauma. If any of us lost our job, our car, our health, and had no family safety net, we'd be standing exactly where they are. Please support them.
Thank you. Next three speakers, please.
Thank you, Britt Smith, Laura Phillips, and Landon Sepulveda.
Excuse me. Good evening to my neighbors on the council, in the gallery, and watching online. I'm Britt Smith, a community organizer with Stop Gilroy Data Center Now, representing 1,670 and counting petition signees who are eager to collaborate with council members, city staff, and project applicant to better understand economic impact and mitigate environmental risks associated with the Amazon Web Services data center. We want to respect our community's grief and any comments related to the tragedy that occurred at Los Alamos. I and my collaborators will keep our statements brief. I stood before you earlier this month with 3 questions around water use, water safety for residents, and agricultural use, and how the city would be responsible for an emergency should one occur on the site. Following our comments January 5th, city staff promptly compiled a 7-page online document called Gilroy Data Center Fact Sheet. I want to express gratitude for their timely reaction, quickly condensing thousands of pages of reports, studies, and communications into a single resource. We recognize that involved parties followed the letter of local ordinances in review and approval of this project. However, it is clear and has been reinforced by members of this council that our city's ordinances are outdated. We also believe there's an opportunity to ensure that projects will comply with federal regulation and global standards. The community is now looking to you, our representatives on the council, to ensure your constituents feel educated on the project as it stands and amend local ordinances to ensure that the city maintains power, but also gives project applicants a clear understanding of expectations and accountability as our newest neighbors. Our hometown continues to grow beyond its agricultural roots, welcoming economic expansion that will boost employment and tax revenue. But we believe that development must be managed responsibly and in partnership with residents. We ask the council to now hire a third-party expert to liaise between project applicant, community, and city staff to write comprehensive regulation that will apply to this project's expansion and any future projects of similar complexity. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to collaborating with each of you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members, and to those in the gallery. My name is Landon Sepulveda. I am a 21-year-old college student, currently enrolled in Gavilan Community College. I am also someone who has lived in Gilroy for my whole life and whose family lives here, and in that has a great concern for the well-being of our city. I am here today in regards to the Amazon data center, currently under construction in our city, with concerns about transparency and what the project will give back to the residents. According to the city's website, it states this facility will employ 50 individuals to run the data center. However, it is unclear if those will be our neighbors in need of jobs or workers trained and sent by Amazon to run their new facility. Along with this, on the same website, it states that it will increase property tax from the development of the land, but does not state any estimation of how much revenue will be developed or whose property tax will be increasing. These problems are not the fault of the council, as they have worked hard on our city to better it for all of us. However, these projects are being rushed all over the country, and in that rush, the finer details can be forgotten. That is why I believe it is important to hire a third-party expert in this field to communicate between the project applicant, the community, and the stakeholders. This third party would be tasked with writing comprehensive regulation and information on the project and any future projects in a similar vein. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, we're at 22 speakers now. Did you want to keep it at 2 minutes?
Yeah, keep it at 2.
Good evening. I'm going to be speaking to the AWS Center also, a little bit different perspective. I'm looking at 2 details I did not see, or 2 issues that I did not see in the EIR report. My name is Laura Phillips. I've resided in Gilroy for 42 years now. 40 of those years spent living in now new District 4. And I'm retired from over 40 years of managing public safety communication systems and emergency management projects and programs for the City of Sunnyvale, County of Santa Clara, State of California, and also at the federal level. I'm aware that we're in a unique time with the developing of this technology, and there's local governance will be a very critical component of the issues that I raised tonight. So I want to thank you for giving me the chance to speak about that. It's personally important to me because I have a grandson that's 6 years old who has autism, and he'll be greatly affected by one of the items I'm going to highlight tonight. I better speed it up. Low frequency noise. I saw that there was a noise study done based on our current ordinance that's in place, which probably deals with leaf blowers and parties and lowrider music or whatever. But we're looking at a new kind of noise that is creating complaints all over the country with these centers and creating a lot of unhappy residents. It's called low frequency noise. It's a low constant hum. In some cases, it's inaudible. It penetrates your walls and your buildings for up to 2 miles, and in some cases up to 5 miles in your residence, which means it will come into our District 4 all the way to my house. It is disruptive to sleep.
That's your 2 minutes, Laura.
impairments.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
went by fast. Feel free to write all of us on council with some of your
Okay.
comments that you have, please, so that you're not rushed, and you make sure you get your details to us.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
I'll
very
do
much.
that.
Next three, please.
Jan Bernstein Charjan, Sally Armendariz, and Robert Aguirre.
Hi, thank you. I'm here to give my perspective on Camp Hope. This is the encampment of individuals without housing that is located on the side of the 6th Street Bridge going over 101 and right across from the Costco parking lot. So you may be aware of it. We know that this formed after a sweep of a Valley Water property. The people there have been swept from multiple locations. Some have had their RVs towed. When this started, we knew it was going to be temporary. We'd heard it was temporary, and we didn't know how it was going to work. But what we found out is that Camp Hope works. The people staying there have stepped up in self-governance and keeping it clean and keeping their own rules and working with the quality of life officers and the local service providers to keep things running smoothly. It's working. So if it's working, let's not tear it up, because without it, we'll have problems. Okay, what problems? Well, if this sweep goes on as planned on February 3rd, on February 4th, there are going to be 25 people who no longer have access to sanitation facilities, porta potties. There are going to be 25 people who no longer have access to trash pickup. There are going to be 25 people who no longer have the support of their community, but will instead be scattered all over the city. I live right on the other side of the freeway from Camp Hope. I live in the closest residential neighborhood to Camp Hope, and my neighbors are happy. They've told me, wow, it's great they've got a place to be now. Wow, it's great they've got porta potties. Who should we thank for that? I would love to be able to tell them, please thank your Gilroy City Council, because they're not tearing down something that's working.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sally Armendariz, and I think all of you know I've been in Gilroy at least 83 years, so I'm a Gilroy native. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the Gilroy residents you represent. Yes, Gilroy residents like you and me, who at the present live at a camp known as Camp Hope. Not Longview area, not Eagle Ridge, but Camp Hope. I'm asking you to extend the time for them to stay there from 3 to 6 months. This will give their social workers time to find them and get them housed. When you keep moving them around, they lose contact with their social workers, so they stay unhoused. These 6 months would give them a hope of life for them. These 6 months would also give the unhoused youth time to work something out with the city. There has been no public outcry about any violations there, no crimes committed since it was set up. So why would you want to shut them down before coming to a solution? It is your job, each one of you that sits up there, as their representative, to protect them. You chose to sit up there, now do your job. Represent them like you represent me. Let them trust you, because I'm sure they don't. By doing something on their behalf and allowing them the 3 to 6 months extension until something can be worked out. These are people you represent, you know. Just because you don't live on that side of town does not mean that they're not your people. And secondly, I would also say that I like to support the beacon lights at all the schools in Gilroy. My nephew was killed about 20 years ago crossing on Maple trying to go to Elliott. And I'm sure that if these lights were there, he would be alive today. And that's what I have to say to you people. Do your job. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert?
If we can leave it here, you can all see what's going on. Yeah, my name is Robert Geary, and I'm the president of the Gilroy Union of the Homeless. We can all hear, but some of us don't listen. And when I listened to the prayer that was given at the beginning of this meeting, one of the things that was mentioned was the idea of caring for the people that are most vulnerable. And so that's what we're talking about here. And if you listen to that prayer that was given, it talked about all the different problems that exist. And we as a nation are facing something that is going to create such an economic hardship on people that the number of people that you see right now that are unhoused is such a small number compared to the number that will. Because if you look at the cost of rising insurance, you look at the cost of housing and food and everything else, eventually people are not going to be able to afford to live where they currently live. And you're going to have a whole lot of people that are residents, that are current residents of Gilroy, that are going to be living out in the street because they can't afford the rent. We have an opportunity to do something, to be able to try to house these people now before the laws change, before the doors get shut, where we can actually house people, provide them the kind of things that they need in order for them to be successful. It is your responsibility to make sure that that happens, okay? The people that are sitting here that come up here and speak, we can only speak to it. You can hear us, but you can also listen. And I beg you to listen to the people that are coming up here, especially the ones that are coming that are from the camp, and listen to their stories and understand, take it into your heart, because that's what we need here, more heart.
Thank you, Robert. Next 3 names, please.
Miguel Flacker, Leondi Felice, and Joe Robinson.
Start now. Good evening, all. Mayor, council, city staff. I want to say thanks to you and the city for helping with the crosswalk striping near Glenview Elementary. It's my town, my area that I live at, and for helping support the Veteran Parade. Both made a real difference for the community. It means a lot, and I'm still getting thanks to this day for both items. I also wanted to note that neither would have been accomplished without the flexibility and support from everyone, the city staff. You guys took a lot of your own time out to help out and communicate with me. Even today, we saw GPD stop a driver that nearly hit our crossing guard on 9th and Princeville. So thank you for that proactive enforcement. We appreciate your work and efforts. I know you often hear a lot of complaints, so I wanted to take a moment to offer some genuine thanks. And that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing you all around the community again this year, and we'll forever work together to make Gilroy a better place all the time. That's it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Miguel.
You're welcome.
Leondi?
Who's next? Was it Wendy, you said?
Leondi.
Leondi, is it Leondi? Felice? Is that name correct? Is the last name Felice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who signed up for that next?
Oh, Wendy, sorry.
Wendy, it is Wendy. Where's Wendy?
Oh, sorry, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Okay.
Okay.
Joe Robinson.
Joe's next.
Mayor, council. So I was here a long time ago when we were talking about homeless sweeps and the Boise decision, and the council at the time and that city attorney were trying to puzzle over how to get around the injunction, which was that if you were going to sweep a homeless encampment, you had to have a place for their stuff, and they had to have a place to sleep at night. And otherwise you couldn't do it. And they felt bound by that. They felt oppressed by that. And so they had a templated thing that was concocted by Joe Lonsdale, who is a tech mafia, PayPal mafia guy. And everybody, there's not a person here that was on the council that didn't vote for that so that they could just sweep encampments. And I think in the current context, and I'm really glad to hear about the community coming out to deal with a tragedy and to look out for their community. And I think that, all of this kind of generosity and all of this kind of the sin of empathy and so on and so forth is emanating from the ground up. And we communities have to take responsibility for the safety of our whole community. And I think that applies to the homeless. And I think, this is one of these things where they say, well, we're going to sweep them away, and then they trail off. And then basically what they're talking about is the violation of people's rights. And then now they're building all these, not just data centers, but they're building all these detention places and seemingly concentration camps. And so I think that the community needs to start including every community member, no matter what they think of them, as somebody whose rights they have to protect. And I'm not that sanguine, I'm not that confident in this council, and I'm not sure about the mayor either. And we don't really have our institutions to look to at this time nationally. And so this is more of even though I'm standing here facing this group, I don't really feel I'm being listened to. But this is for the public to consider. Thank you.
Next three speakers, please.
Thank you, Rachel, Shauna, and Ron.
Good evening to everyone here in the council and the general community. My name's Rachel Wong, and I'm a local scout leader with Troop 711. I'm here tonight with 6 scouts who are working earnestly toward their Eagle Scout in the future, and they're here observing as part of their Citizen in the Community Merit Badge. We are grateful for the opportunity to observe and learn about our community firsthand. We'd also like to announce that we have an open house. We do this annually, where they will show scout skills and invite the community. Anyone who's middle school, about 12 years to 18 years of interest in scouting, come on out. We're meeting at the Gilroy Elks Lodge this Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you are interested in scouting or seeing what our local youth are doing, please join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shauna Scott. This is my first ever city council meeting, hopefully one of many. I'm here today just to put my voice behind all of the other very eloquent voices for Camp Hope. As a former resident of Portland, I saw firsthand the deep and abiding impact of unhoused communities being swept over and over again, and the harm that it caused to them as well as the families and communities trying to support them. Often these unhoused people are not alone. They are loved by other people within our community, and you hurt each and every one of those people if you do not support the unhoused among us. I reiterate others who have said that in the months that this camp has been in place, there have been no calls for first responders or local complaints from neighbors, and that's a fairly remarkable thing in any neighborhood in a 3-month time span, in my opinion. Personally, those sound like stellar neighbors to me, and I would like to continue to have those neighbors stay in some place where they are stable and can receive more help. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I believe I'm next. Hello, Mayor, City Council, City Administrator, and community. At the last meeting, I spoke about the newly hired city administrator, Matt Morley. And I congratulated the three that were chosen to select the position. What I omitted, and I congratulated and thanked them, what I omitted was that it was a vote of the whole council, and it was a unanimous vote to hire this gentleman. And to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a great hire. I hope to see him and meet him in the future and talk to him about things of my concern. But I think you all did a very good job. And also, I'd like to say, I noticed that Councilman Marks is not here tonight. She's convalescing. She had surgery on her knee. And Tom, it's good to see you in good health. Thank you all.
Aubrey, Vanessa, and Thomas.
I'm sorry. I want to say one additional thing if I can.
You have time, go ahead.
In regards to this homeless issue, or what they call Camp Hope, I believe, as you know, I'm pretty firm on the issue of homeless in our issue. But to tell you the truth, I hope, I agree with the people here that want to show a little bit of lenience to help these folks. And the stipulation in my mind is that if there's no trouble with the law or anything like that, that they should be, if it's okay with the surrounding companies like Costco, and they have porta potties and other things there, then let's give it a chance. Let's give it a test. Thank you.
Thank you. Aubrey's next, I believe.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Aubrey Tasby. I am the current de facto mayor of Camp Hope and an employee of Rooted by Carry the Vision. I'm here tonight to ask the council to allow us to stay at our current location for 3 months, after which we can reevaluate. There are currently 20 residents at the camp. We are a sovereign community, meaning we have camp agreements we constructed together. We have had no calls for service, no negative law enforcement encounters. We are supported by churches and other community members alike. One of our residents has been placed in permanent housing. 3 are also placed in the process of receiving housing, and 1 is in the shelter. The stability and support we have received has allowed people to make positive progress towards achieving goals, including employment and obtaining Social Security. If our camp is disbanded, we risk losing the progress we are making. We are asking to remain solution-focused and willing to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Vanessa.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Vanessa. I work for Rooted by Carry the Vision. I have spent an abundant amount of time in Camp Hope and with many of its residents for years prior to this. The progress I have seen in the past 2 months, I have never seen before in the years of my outreach. People are accomplishing things they have tried for years to and couldn't. What is the difference, you might ask? They are sovereign. They are self-contained, and they take this opportunity seriously. There have been no calls for service. There has been no negative police feedback. In fact, they view it positively and call it clean and organized. There is no organization specifically funded to provide management. This is why it is called sovereign. It is safe, and ultimately, it is love in action. Please give us 3 more months, and then let's reevaluate. 7 of these individuals and I met with Sylvia Arenas last week at her coffee and conversation. Never in my career have I been able to get 7 people to show up to advocate for their rights as citizens, but the sense of community and safety they have built with one another has given them the confidence to not only do that, but to get identification, to apply for Social Security, to go into shelter, to obtain housing. The county does have a responsibility to do its part in housing, and we have to give them time to do that. And if we continue to push people around and displace them, it makes all of our work harder, and causes more trauma, and then we have to get ID over again. What we have right now really is a miracle. And I thank you, Mayor, for your part in allowing this. We spoke, and I remember having a conversation and saying, we're standing in the miracle. And I have witnessed the miracle of lives being transformed, Aubrey being one of them. And I just ask that we continue to be given that opportunity and allow people to do what they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas?
Hello, Council, Mayor. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak for my behalf on Camp Hope. I just want to say, actually, I want to just thank everyone from Camp Hope, how good they maintain with each other and stuff, and helping each other with food and water and whatnot, or whatever they can do. But I really want to also share this. Family have a few things to say. I'm hoping you guys are able to hear it. I'll put it as loud as I can.
A little closer. Closer, we can't hear it.
Brothers and sisters that are homeless for whatever reason it might be. So when you catch them yourself at home asleep with blankets being warm, think about our brothers and sisters that wish they could be in the same situation. And help them, okay, instead of trying to hurt them.
I myself, part-time.
Thomas, can you get back towards the mic, please, so we can all hear you? Thank you.
There you go. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's kind of hard for me to come up here to do this, so I'm trying to be as humble as possible and let you guys know that, I don't want to really be out there. I have housing, but I got problems going with housing right now that they just takes time. And I can't just get things, I'm waiting on them to get me out of where I'm at, and what I'm really worried for is the older folks and stuff like that. Me, I'm a strong enough guy to take, to move up, get up and leave and stuff, but I'm more worried for them. And I will eventually leave. I'm just waiting on things to get squared away, and then, I'll be out of there as soon as I can. I don't want to be out there. I had housing already. I'm just appealing it at the moment because of a situation that happened when I was in Arizona. I came back to take care of a court. They put me back on probation, and I was stuck here. So that's what my issue is there. And, other than that, it's a great place. Everybody's cool. Nobody's worried about anybody getting hurt. So everything's
Thank you,
great.
Thomas. Thank you very much. Next three speakers, please.
Max, Sam, and Rob.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Max. I'm a 14-year-old and a student at Christopher High School. I have been present during previous encampment sweeps. I've helped people move their belongings and seen their suffering. Some things that I have learned in my life is we do not throw away people. We don't just give up when it gets hard. We show up and do our best. I've gotten to know people in the camp and feel seen and safe. I ask that we give them the same feeling. Please allow people to continue to exist with dignity as they work within the options they have. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Sam Brown. I work for Rooted by Carry the Vision and co-founder of Pit Stop Outreach. I am here to ask for three more months extension for Camp Hope. I have seen people progress, move in the last 2 months than I have seen in 5 to 10 years. There is a deep sense of community and pride. People taking care of each other and themselves. Several are getting housed through the Office of Supportive Housing, and others are employed for the first time in years. There has been negative actions, and many community members and churches come to offer love and support. People feel safe and seen, which is the first step in addressing the trauma and an addiction. People are able to keep phones and IDs for the first time in years. Please don't destroy the progress we have made. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Rob's next.
Members of the council, my name is Robert Torres, and I currently reside at Camp Hope. And I'm here to express deep concern about about the ongoing efforts to relocate unhoused residents in our community. These actions are causing real harm, and they do nothing to address the root issues. A major driver of this pressure appears to be the water district, which has pushed for removals on land that is not theirs. This overreach has created confusion and instability, and no agency should be enforcing displacement where they have no authority. These actions also inflict severe emotional stress. People already living with constant uncertainty now are facing increased fear, anxiety, and trauma. Being told to move with little notice disrupts sleep, mental health, and any sense of safety. Many residents have built stability where they are, near outreach teams, medical care, food distribution, and community support. Forcing them to move destroys those lifelines and disrupts progress toward jobs, treatment, and housing. Relocation doesn't reduce homelessness, it only hides it. I urge the council to stop these harmful actions and ensure that outside agencies, including the Water District, do not exert authority they do not have. Our community deserves solutions rooted in compassion, fairness, and evidence-based practice, not displacement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, Thomas, Tom, Chargan, and Tristia.
Linda, you're next, please. Linda's next.
Good evening. My name is Linda Thomas. I'm here to appeal to the council for the homeless. I am with Gilroy Union for the Homeless, and this is my appeal, is that tomorrow morning, I'm sure some of you have faith. I would like you to take, while you're getting dressed and you're saying your prayers and talking to the Lord in the morning as you're getting dressed to come to work, understand this, that when you take and you come to work, you do not leave the Lord at home. You ask for his guidance, and the guidance he would say, I believe, because he already said it, is you take care of the homeless, the widows, and the fatherless. All of these are people that are out on the street homeless. So when you come to work tomorrow, bring Jesus with you and make votes according to your heart and not according to money. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Tom?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Oops. My name is Tom Chargan, and my wife, Jan Bernstein Chargan, along with Sam Brown, co-founded the Pit Stop Outreach. I'm one of their food deliverers. I'm a volunteer. In fact, I go way back from the days when we started the Compassion Center. And I believe Councilmember Bracco was on the original board so many years ago. And then, of course, COVID came along and we couldn't put everybody in one place. So now, Camp Hope has been wonderful for me as a food deliverer, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes other days. Everybody's in one spot. and we can remember names, remember things that somebody might need, a particular item or service, and we come back and they're still there. Now, the alternative, and I appreciate any kind of leeway you can give these folks as far as extensions are concerned, but when you break them apart, they're going to be all over the place, making my job a lot harder. But that's not the point. The point is that they're going to go to places like creek beds, business, the fronts of businesses, under the bridges, scattered, and their garbage will be collecting, and they'll be bothering people for using the restrooms. It just works to have small places like this. They were very successful in Seattle doing it for a while, I'm told. And 3 minutes is almost up. Let me just say thanks again for your consideration. Keep them together. If not, if we could come up with the money for a fence, and if we put a fence, you wouldn't even see this place. If on the east side, facing the east foothills next to Costco, you wouldn't even notice it. And it would help these people out immensely. So I appreciate your concern. Thank you. There's my 3 minutes.
Tristia, please.
Good evening. My name is Tristia Bauman, and I am Directing Attorney of Housing at the Law Foundation of Silicon Valley. I'm also a member of the Gilroy Union of the Homeless, and I'm formerly a senior attorney at the National Homelessness Law Center, where I worked for years looking across the country at 187 cities and their responses to unsheltered homelessness. For 20 years, I have been a civil rights attorney working on housing and homelessness. And one thing I can tell you in all of that experience is that when you have a solution in hand to a difficult, sometimes seemingly intractable problem, you do not throw it away. You have a rare opportunity in Camp Hope to support a solution. You've heard before some of the reasons why the individuals would be harmed. I want to talk to you a little bit about the community benefits of supporting Camp Hope. One, you haven't heard any of the health and safety concerns that typically accompany unsheltered encampments. They don't exist here. Why? Because people have a safe place to be. They don't have alternatives. The council knows that. You did the housing needs assessment as part of the housing element. This is their alternative. They're healthy there. They're safe there. You can verify that with your law enforcement. Even people who typically disagree are agreeing that Camp Hope has not been a problem. It's expensive to displace Camp Hope, especially with no plan. No plan has been put forth about where people can go other than Camp Hope. It's expensive to enforce a sweep, and it is going to be expensive to do the next sweep, because when there's no plan, people will just go to another outdoor location because we don't have a shelter or any housing for people here in Gilroy. Not a problem of Gilroy's making, but a problem that we face as a community nonetheless. It saves our neighborhoods because people are in a location where they can receive services and connect with the permanent housing that is the permanent solution to their unsheltered homelessness. We should support it. 90 days. If there's still no problems, then great, extend it. If there are problems, we reevaluate. But don't fix what isn't broken. Camp Hope works. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. It was a very, very respectful public comment, so thank you very much for that. And I always like to give this disclaimer to those of you who came in for public comment. Do not feel obligated to sit through the entire meeting, and we will not be angry at you if you decide to leave this meeting as we move on through the rest of the topics. Okay, so thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3, reports by council members. Councilmember Bracco. Councilmember Fugazi.
Yes, from Visit Gilroy. Visit Gilroy is preparing for the Super Bowl and the FIFA World Cup by adding 2 new sports pages to their website, including a sports fan map where people can find spots to watch the game. 2026 is a big year for sports, but long-term Visit Gilroy hopes to tap into the Bay Area and local sports fans and entice them to stay in Gilroy. The wineries of Santa Clara Valley are launching a new event, Barrel and Bites, on February 21st and 22nd, where visitors may buy a weekend pass and sample wines straight from the barrel from 11 participating wineries. Visit Gilroy is working with the city and has also sent a survey to local hotel operators to get their opinion on the potential TOT increase that we're looking at here at City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you. From the Valley Transportation Authority Policy Advisory Committee, VTA is ready for the February 7th Super Bowl at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. They're expecting higher transit usage than the Taylor Swift concert. And those wishing to get closer to the action from South County, the VTA Frequent 68 runs every 15 minutes along the Monterey Road corridor. From Silicon Valley Clean Energy, SVCE will join a large group of energy providers committing to purchase energy from the Willow Rock Compressed Air Energy Storage Project, a new 500 megawatt facility in Kern County that stores clean energy for up to 8 hours using innovative compressed air technology. The project received final California Energy Commission permitting in December of 2025 and is expected to begin operations around 2030. The facility will provide reliable electricity to the grid during evening hours when solar generation drops but demand remains high. SVC's expected share of the project is 5.7 megawatts. Electric vehicle programs evolved to support customer needs. The board adopted a pair of changes to its transportation programs. The EV pilot rate program will create a super off-peak period in the midday that will incentivize EV drivers to charge midday when the cleanest electricity is produced instead of overnight. The board also approved reallocating $7.2 million to consolidate and expand 3 core programs: the EV charging rebates, EV charging technical assistance, EV rebates, and education. Lastly, I remain heartbroken after the tragic accident that took place January 16th, shortly after 8 a.m. near Sidney Casper Park and Los Animas Elementary School in the Glen Loma neighborhood, where a teenage driver struck and killed parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stuart, who had just dropped off their child at school. My office is here to provide any support needed, and my thoughts are with the family involved. If there are any resources the community needs, please let me know so I can connect you with them. My wife and I are parents that walk and bike the streets to our schools too. Traffic safety citywide and near schools is something that I have always worked on to improve and draw attention to, but we continue to have near misses and tragic accidents like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Ramirez.
Good evening. I also share in the grief and with the community with regards to the tragic accident that took the lives of this young couple, Mr. and Mrs. Stuart, their children, their extended family, and just the community at large. I also, my heart goes out to that young driver and his family as well. I would like to share that last week I had the opportunity and the privilege to attend the League of California Cities Mayor and Councilmember Academy. The information on the proposed legislation and different issues that Cal Cities is working on, it was extremely informative, and I am grateful for the opportunity. I was also selected, as the mayor pointed out a while ago, to serve on the policy committee for housing, community, and economic development, and spent the day reviewing policies and creating a work plan for this year. So it was very worthwhile, and I thank you for the opportunity to attend.
Thank you. Councilmember Klein.
Yeah, I don't have a report or something to report, but I would like to say a thank you to had a emergency situation arise, and I just wanted to say thank you to Captain McPhail and his team that showed up, and the EMTs that helped in a moment of crisis. You always wonder about that, and just in that moment there, really helped my wife with what we were dealing with, and so I'm thankful for that. My council members who have supported me and people who have prayed, I really appreciate that, and thank you for that. We've worked hard this year, so I'm trying to keep pace with these guys, so I'm going to be better for that, so thanks.
Thank you very much. I have a few items to report out. First of all, I was at a ribbon cutting today. It was Sweet Tea. They're over located on the east side of 101 near Best Buy. And it was a great ribbon cutting, traditional ribbon cutting, but I wanted to say some staff. I heard from the new ownership group there how impressed they are with working with all of the staff that they dealt with all the way through permitting and their business license. So appreciate that staff. They are recognizing you guys as a very, very professional staff. So thank you very much. Last month, I reported that I'd be going to Sacramento for a ceremony and to meet with the Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, who happens to be our Assembly District 29 representative. While I was there, I had a chance to share with the Speaker some of the accomplishments that all of us on Council have made last year. And I also shared with him some of the big ticket items that we have coming to our community, possibly in the name of a civic center, some of the projects that we may want to do at the civic center, and also some of you know on the west side of Gilroy near Gavilan College, with the changes of the traffic flow out there, going out Santa Teresa Boulevard is now a dead end, and there are discussions going on that Santa Teresa will eventually one day punch through all the way to the new Highway 101-25 interchange. And so I was able to share that with him and let him know about some of the needs that we'll have in this community. He connected me with his transportation committee folks. And also while I was there, I got to connect with District 15 Senator Cortese, who's the senator for our area. And I also got to connect with Senator Laird, who is the budget chairman. So someone whose interests I have in mind when it comes to getting funds to Gilroy. So thank you for allowing me to go on that trip. I thought it was very productive. From some of my committees that I'm on, Gilroy Gardens we did not have a meeting in December this last year, but we had a great end of the year November meeting, and we have a meeting tomorrow that will be getting an update on the holidays at Gilroy Gardens. And from what I understand so far, that the Halloween and the North Pole Nights at Gilroy Gardens was very, very, very successful this year. So hopefully next meeting I'll be able to report back more on that. And finally, from the South County Youth Task Force, this is not that exciting, but some of you know that South County Youth Task Force, they do a lot of teen diversion, and one of the things that they do is a late night gym, which takes place right over here at Wheeler every Thursday night. And I've been invited to play basketball with the kids. So if anybody wants to join me to play basketball with the kids this Thursday night, I'll be there. I'll report back in a couple weeks to see if I'm still alive. So, thank you. That concludes my report, and we are now going to move on to boards and commissions interviews. Item number 4. And Kim, would you like to start with this, or do you need me to take it from here?
I got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will start. I will call out the commissions and those applicants that have not yet interviewed. And if you could just take a step up and have a seat at this table when I call your name, we'll pass around the mic and you can just give us speak briefly about yourself, and if council has any questions, they'll respond. And we'll start with Arts and Culture, Jacqueline Chianti. Okay, Library Commission, we have Janet Lee and Joseph Coughlin.
And as Janet and Joseph are coming up, I'll remind you, I spoke about this last time too. You guys will speak briefly, tell us a little bit about yourself, but for the public, they have turned in applications with a large amount of their information already, so thank you guys very much for doing that. We just want the public to know that in case they don't get a lot of questions, it's not that we're not interested, it's because we know a lot about them already. So take it away, Janet.
Good evening, council and community. My name is Janet Lee. I'm a high school science teacher and interested in literacy. One of the reasons I applied for this position, I've lived in Gilroy for about 8 years, and prior to that lived in Morgan Hill. Our library systems are extremely important to our students, and I feel like I have a variety of experiences working with students and through work with unions, working with a variety of people to find to analyze data, find conclusions, and try to find solutions to work towards things. And so those are reasons that I applied for this position, as well as Zach Hilton, or Councilmember Hilton's petition to ask for people to participate. And everybody wants a village, but we all need to be villagers. So wanting to contribute to our community and step up and contribute.
Thank you.
Wonderful. My name is Joe Coughlin, and I'm a scientist. I've worked at NASA for a long time, and I just retired this January. And I wanted to give to the community, and I thought to start with the library. Personally, when I was growing up in Chicago proper, my mom would send me out, my dad would send me out to go to the YMCA, and I was terrified. So I used to sneak and hang out at the Chicago Public Library Satellite. I did a lot of reading. The reading enabled me to do well on tests, and it really helped me in my life. So as a child, it was a safe space for me. Going to college, I studied in libraries and used them as someone would going to school, and then I went on to get a doctorate. So I'm familiar with them, and I've been on committees that looked at library resources. So my background is obviously with libraries is enabling, and I put on the application. I wanted to learn more about the town. I moved here in 2001, but I've been working, pretty hard for a long time. So that's why I signed up.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Sharpie Sandu? And you had an interest in, you had applied for the personnel and open government, correct? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Sharpie Sandhu, and I just completed my first term, which was 1 year, on the Open Government Commission. That's one I'm interested in. As far as my background, I am a senior vice president at a public company called Okta. We have about 6,500 employees. It's based in San Francisco. I also have experience in human resources. That's what I've been working in over the past 25 years. I know that in my first year on the Open Government Commission, it was a lot of kind of learning the momentum, how things work, and I'd love to continue that if possible. So thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, good.
So your preference is which of the two?
Well, by trade, personal commission, but because I've already served on the Open Government Commission and the commissioners are here, they'd love for me to move forward with them.
What do you want? What is your number one and your number two?
Open government.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharpie.
Okay, next, for Parks and Recreation Commission, I have 5 applicants, so I'll call 3 up at first. Jose Guerra, Greg Felios, and Andrew Brinton.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Does it matter the order?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello. My name is Andrew Brinton. I'm interested in the Parks Committee because the parks, along with the library, remain one of the few places that citizens can go to be together and do healthy, productive things that don't require some sort of cost. And I think they're very important for the community. And I think that going forward, we need to look at how the parks not only operate today, but the park situation, how it will look for the city of Gilroy in 20 years and 50 years and 100 years. And I think if we don't consider that now, then we won't get an optimal outcome in the future. So thank you.
I'm Greg Felios. I'm retired. I have the time and energy to put into this position. I will, although I have, we're serving as Parks and Recreation. So hopefully, now we'll be doing the parks, we're doing the recreation too with Adam Henning. And we'll hopefully be working together with Adam to do the recreation part. We're going to provide, looking at all the parks, we have the opportunity to get out to the parks and get it out into the communities. Now, fortunately, I work closely with Gilroy Unified School District, and getting the information out to the kids that these parks are available. That'd be great. You have the recreation office is located in the senior center. We got right there, we have the senior center with recreation. Let's put those two, they're right there. So let's get those two together working. I just want to be I'm not coming in with any great new ideas. I'm coming in to be a cheerleader and to be a supportive member, listening to what the community wants, what the committee wants. Because I'm not a leader. I'm a follower, and as a follower, I can be a good support. I will, however it is, however you want to use me, however the committee wants to use me, I'm ready to do that. So.
Thank you, Greg.
You bet.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions for Greg or Andrew? No? Okay.
And for Parks and Recreation, we also have Jesse Jimenez and Emily Miller.
All right. Come on up, you two.
Hello, I'm Emily Miller. Over the past year, I've gained direct experience serving as a Parks and Recreation Commissioner for the city of Gilroy. I'm starting to understand our city's park systems, priorities, and long-term capital needs over the past year. I've actively participated in the commission meetings. I didn't miss any of them. I did public outreach. I was interested in policy discussion that we're having and helping shape recommendations to city council and staff. In addition to the Parks and Recreation role, I also serve as the City of Gilroy's representative on the VTA Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, which after the incident that just happened this month is even more critical, I feel. I think we need to put more attention on bicycle and pedestrian, matters in Gilroy. Professionally, I work for Levi's in indirect marketing and procurement, and I have a background in data-driven analysis, collaborative decision-making, so I can evaluate capital improvement proposals, understand budget structures, and contribute meaningfully to long-term resource planning. Sorry, I'm really not good at public speaking.
You're doing great.
But I hope I get
Thank
better.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jesse.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and Commission. My name is Jesse Jimenez. I'm actually serve as a pastor here at the Victory Outreach Church in Gilroy. I've been part of the Parks and Recreation Commission this past year. It's been a privilege, been growing, learning just more about how the functions of the Parks and Recreation Department operates. And, we had the privilege to with Emily, bring in the suggestions and ideas of bringing in new pickleball courts here in Gilroy and other park improvements that have been submitted. And we have a plan to continue to betterment the parks in our community, providing a safe place. We've served, I served doing the many downtown events, the Ride Your Bike Anywhere event, Halloween event, the 5K. They brought that back this year, partnering with a lot of different Parks and Recreation, advertising what the Parks and Recreation have to offer within our community. I also, did a lot of community cleanups, networking with the, community members here in Gilroy, as well with Victory Outreach to bring numerous of volunteers to help with all the different efforts of community cleanup and also event setup, tear down, and so forth. I look forward to continue to serve on this commission. It's been a privilege and it's been an honor just getting to know, the mayor and also the city council through this. And I'm looking forward to continue to progress in this role and be an asset to our community.
Thank you. Any questions for Emily or Jesse? Okay, thank you very much.
Next up, we have Planning Commission. We have Britt Smith, Heyman, and McCann Gupta.
Okay, Britt, take it away.
Good evening again. I am Britt Smith. I first moved to Gilroy in 2001, and though I moved away for career pursuits and my undergraduate degree in sociology, I have always considered Gilroy to be my home, and most recently I have had the pleasure of working with many citizens locally to raise awareness around the Gilroy Data Center project, and I would like to continue to bring as much awareness to the development of our community to the public as possible, using all of our different resources and collaborating not only with the council but the staff to distill very complex information and reports in a way that is digestible and in a way that feels accessible to all regardless of their personal background. I am very excited about all of the potential that Gilroy has. I've watched it change so much in my time here alone, and I think that there is much much more opportunity for benefits for everyone involved, not just people that have a legacy in town, but also as a growing community that supports all of the ventures of Silicon Valley and Monterey County. So I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Councilman. Thanks for giving me the time. My name is Makan Gupta, known as Mac, M-A-K, Gupta. I came in this country 50 plus years ago with no money, education, and just clothes on my back. This nation has given me more and more and more, and I am living what's called American dream. I have always lived in a small town, USA, living in Gilroy for 25 plus years, and my goal is to give back to the society, to the land has given me for 50 plus years. I want to serve the community, serve the people. I'm doing it through Gilroy Garden. I'm doing it through with the seniors, and I've done some other work with the homeless people. Again, I'm not here to brag about what I have done. I just want to serve the nation, serve the people, and serve the land has feeding me for many years. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you. Not yet. We'll go right to payment next.
Minute's background sounds very similar to my parents. They're first-time immigrants coming to America, and they live the American dream. Lucky enough, my brother as well, he has a business in Gilroy, so a little backstory of myself. Payment Codabande, born and raised in San Jose, California. I'm a global account executive for Automation Anywhere, assisting companies with artificial intelligence from a processing standpoint. I grew up playing ice hockey. I always came to Gilroy, whether that be visiting Gilroy Gardens with my mother or going to the outlets. It's her favorite spot. My mom loved to shop, so we always came here. One of the places that she told me that I should move to is Gilroy. My brother started his business over 12 years ago in the heart of Gilroy. So Gilroy's always been a place for me that I would love to call home. Lucky enough for me, 2 years ago, I moved to Gilroy with my girlfriend. We've been in the city, living here. I've got to meet a lot of folks, and one of the main things that I wanted to do is be a part of my community. I love meeting new people, being introduced to everyone, knowing how small, tight-knit the community is, and being able to give back to that. I didn't know that the new ice rink was coming in town, so that really hit close to home because it gave me flashbacks of growing up with my mom, her taking me to the ice rink. I did live in Canada to play hockey, so for me it was like, I need to be part of that. I want to be part of Gilroy. Obviously, with my brother's background, being part of Gilroy for a long time, I know that the development's huge. It's why I bought a home here. It's why I want to have my family here. And be able to grow, and I think I'd be a big part of Gilroy. Sorry, as I wanted to continue, I am pretty good at public speaking. I do it for a living. I have to do presentations and meet with people, so I'm a little bit more confident on the mic, but it's great meeting everybody for the first time, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you. I have a couple questions for the three of you, since this is one of the commissions that there's quite a few applicants, because just for the public's knowledge, people did apply at the last meeting as well. So the folks that you see applying today, not just for this committee, all the committees, there were applicants at the last meeting as well. So if you hear some names get thrown out when we're voting, it's because people were here at the last meeting. But the question I have for the three of you is, because there's quite a few applicants for just 2 spots, would there be any other commissions or committees that you'd be interested in the event that you weren't selected for this one?
For me, Mac, for me, I want to serve the community, the land. So no matter where I am, what commission I'm with, I am quite comfortable. It is okay with me, however you decide to use my help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Because it appears that there will be space on the Arts and Culture Commission. And this goes for Joseph and Janet as well, and anybody else that's interested in something like that. I'm okay. Okay.
I am very eager to give back to the community that has shaped who I am, and I am eager to do that in any capacity. I think at this moment I have a lot of momentum around planning, and so I would like to carry that forward. However, I, again, am here to serve my neighbors, and I would be honored to hold a position wherever the council sees fit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to assist where it's needed.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that concludes your guys' interview. Thank you very much. And you can give the mic back to Stefan, I believe. And that, I believe, Kim, we've gotten through all of them?
That's correct.
You want to give the
Those are
council a little
interviews?
guidance and maybe ask if we have any questions?
Yes, I briefed quickly before the meeting. I'll go through and call out each of you, and you'll give me your top, depending on how many openings there are. So say for Library Commission, you're going to give me 2, and we'll go through each commission that way.
Okay, and let's do arts and culture last.
Okay, and then also on Parks and Rec, we have one full term, one partial term. Please, when you are letting me know which members you're selecting, which are for full term and which are for partial. And we'll start with Library Commission. Bracco?
Okay. Library Commission?
Yes.
Jan Guffey and Christina Tovar.
Fugazi?
Sorry. First thing I wanted to just say is when I'm putting down who I'm putting down, I know I place a high value on showing up on the day that you're assigned to show up. So don't take anything personal if you see that I don't call your name and you happen to be one of those people. But for the Library Commission, I have Joseph and Christina.
Hilton?
Okay, so we're doing Library Commission, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Janet Lee and Christina Tovar.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Joseph Coughlin and Christina Tovar.
Councilmember Klein?
Yeah, Joseph Coughlin and Christina Tovar.
And Mayor Bozo.
Janet Lee and Christina Tovar.
Okay. Do you want me to read those off now, Mayor, or do you want to wait till we go through them all? So we have Christina Tovar.
What? You want to wait? Yeah.
Correct.
Right, so go ahead and read them out.
So we have Christina Tovar with 6 and Joseph Coughlin with 3.
Okay, congratulations, Christina and Joseph. So thank you very much. Janet, if you're interested in arts and culture, you definitely make that clear to us after we get through this.
I have a question. So on ours, we have the Library Bond Oversight Committee. We have Janet Lee there. Is there an opening? You don't have a,
There.
number of openings?
Yes, there is openings.
Thank you.
Arjo.
Yeah, I would just say there is an opening. We only have one applicant. However, that wouldn't give us a quorum, so that's a challenge there.
Wait, say that again then?
The Library Bond Oversight Committee is a 7-member commission, and we have at least 2 that are the existing members that are on the committee. Given that we only have one applicant here, that still doesn't get us to a commission. So any kind of Library Bond Oversight Committee work would be run through the Library Commission.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay,
Work
thank you.
just goes over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for Open Government Commission, we have one opening, full term, expiring 2029. Councilmember Bracco.
Blanca McMurray.
Councilmember Fugazi.
Blanca McMurray.
Councilmember Hilton.
Sharpie.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Blanca McMurray.
Councilmember Klein.
Sharpie.
And Mayor Bozo.
Blanca McMurray.
Thank you. With 4 votes, Blanca McMurray will be appointed to Open Government Commission.
Okay, thank you very much.
Parks and Recreation Commission, we have 4 openings. We have 3 full terms expiring in 2029 and 1 partial term, 2-year term expiring in 2027. Councilmember Bracco.
Greg, Andrew, Jesse, and Emily.
And which for the partial term?
Greg.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
I have one, which is Greg, full-time, or full term.
No others. Okay, Councilmember Hilton?
For the full term, Andrew, Jesse, and Emily. And then for the partial, it would be Greg.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Full terms, Andrew Britton, Jesse Jimenez, Emily Miller, and the partial, Greg Filios.
Councilmember Klein?
Yeah, I have Andrew, Jesse, and Emily for the full, and Greg for the partial.
And Mayor Bozo?
Jesse, Emily, Andrew for the full, Greg for the partial.
Okay, we have, congratulations, we have Greg Filios appointed to a partial term expiring in 2027, and Andrew Britton, Jesse Jimenez, and Emily Miller, all with serving a full term expiring in 2029.
Thank you.
Personnel Commission, we have 2 full terms expiring 2029. Councilmember Bracco?
Danny Mitchell and Sandu.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yeah, I have Sharpie Sandu, even though she said it was her number 2, and Danny Mitchell.
Councilmember Hilton?
Danny and Sharpie.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Sharpie Sandu and Danny Mitchell.
Councilmember Klein?
Yeah, Sharpie and Danny.
And Mayor Bozo?
Sharpie and Danny.
Okay, Sharpie Sandu and Danny Mitchell both have been appointed to a full term expiring 2029 on the Personnel Commission. And we have Planning Commission. We have 2 openings, 2 full terms expiring December 2029. Councilmember Bracco.
Brett Smith and Martha Martinez.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
Matt Gupta and Martha Martinez.
Councilmember Hilton.
Britt and Payman.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Martha Martinez and Payman. I can't, sorry.
It's okay. It happens all the time.
Councilmember Klein.
Yeah, Britt and Mac.
And Mayor Bozo.
Martha Martinez and Payman.
So we do have a tie between Britt and Payman. Do you want to vote again? Does anyone want to change their vote on those? We have Martha Martinez, who will be appointed with 4 votes.
Just take another vote.
Okay. It's Britt, Smith, or Payman.
Brett.
Payman?
Councilmember Hilton.
Britt.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Payman?
Councilmember Klein.
Britt?
And Mayor Bozo.
Payman.
Do we have
This is when we need another council member.
Have to wait till our next meeting when all of us are here.
Is that what you guys suggest?
Well,
Well, so you have some input, go ahead.
Or do you want to do like advocacy? I mean,
Sure. We could do some advocacy, and if it doesn't, we'll take another vote after that, and if it doesn't work, then we'll go to the next meeting.
yeah, because I think it would be helpful so that we can take those and check their interest for arts and culture or library bond. That's all.
I see your point. So let's go start with advocacy on these 2 members that you're interested in, that we've talked, that we have a tie, right, between Payman and Britt. So you want to do advocacy?
yeah, I'll throw out some advocacy for Britt.
Thank you.
I really appreciated, her coming forward in her eyes, finding a need for something in the community and being able to show that advocacy and everything within a few weeks is pretty inspirational. I like that. And one of the things that I know a bunch of us were encouraging her is to join a commission. So for me, it's seeing that aspect in the younger generation of our community that's not very well represented on many commissions or the council. Just seeing that step up and seeing her take this onto planning I think that she'll be able to learn quickly. I think she already has. And so that would be my advocacy to give her and her generation that voice on the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez?
Certainly, I agree with Councilmember Hilton. I appreciate her stepping up and coming forward. Where is she? Well, look at her. Oh, there she is. I also appreciated her willingness to step back when things were explained to her and she was, a little bit off course. She immediately took the feedback and understood the direction. I am going to advocate, though, for payment. I think I would like to see Britt on the arts and culture. I think that having served on the Planning Commission myself, the technicalities, the state mandates, it's a lot of rules and regulations that are beyond our control. This is one of the reasons why I ran, was because there was a lack of local control. And I just feel that Payment's background might be more aligned with that. And it would, being on the arts and culture, would allow Britt some mentoring up and then moving on to Planning Commission.
Councilmember Klein, you have anything?
I voted for Britt, and I'm sticking to it. I just think I like where she's coming from, and so I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Any further? Councilmember Bracco?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my vote for Brett because I saw something from her that we don't rarely see up here, is passion for something. She was speaking with passion. She's jumped into this data center, agree or disagree. And I think she would make an outstanding planning commissioner and somebody that can move on.
Councilmember Fugazzi? Nothing? It feels, if everybody, give me a thumbs up if you're going to vote the same, or do you want to run through this again? Want to run through it again?
Me?
Yeah, the vote. Take a vote again, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Brett?
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Payman?
Councilmember Hilton?
Britt?
Councilmember Ramirez?
Payman?
Councilmember Klein?
Brett?
Mayor votes so.
Payment. So we have a tie. So on this particular case, we're going to go ahead and wait until the next meeting that we will have 7 people here and a decision will be made. With that being said, we are now going to do the Arts and Culture
Correct.
Commission. Is there anybody in the audience that is interested in the Arts and Culture Commission, knowing what you know now? Mac? Anybody else? Arts and Culture? Okay.
Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
I would just add, before we go ahead, and I know there's applicants that expressed interest in serving in the Arts and Commission. I would just clarify that the meeting is on the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30. So I know the interest is there, but I want to clarify what the commitment is, because different commissions meet at different dates and times. So I wanted to put that information out there.
Okay, so it looks like we have Mac Gupta, who's interested in arts and culture. Kim?
And then we,
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, getting back to the Library Bond Oversight Committee, so putting Janet there, it just gives them 3. So could we add another, like Mac maybe, to make it 4? Just throwing it out there so we would have a quorum and a
Yes.
functioning board.
Yes, as long as the applicant's interested, and yeah, absolutely.
Can you explain just quickly so that the individuals here understand what that commission is?
Absolutely, yeah. So the Library Bond Commission, or Library Bond Oversight Committee, was established when the Gilroy Library, the new library was built, dating back to 2008, 2009, particularly as the bonds were approved by the Gilroy voters. It included an element that there's going to be a oversight committee that would be established, and they would meet on a quarterly basis to review the expenditures of the bond proceeds, or in line with what the intent of issuing those bonds were. The library was opened subsequent to that in 2014. Currently, there's about $5 million currently remaining in unspent bond proceeds. The committee has not met in many years, primarily due to COVID onsets and availability of the committee members. And also, frankly, there were no projects on the books that the city was spending monies on. That did change last year. The City Council did appropriate the remaining unspent bond proceeds for improvements at the library, so I would expect this committee to resume, and we would actually have agenda items on planned expenditures and what those expenditures are. The expectation is the committee would continue until those bond proceeds are 100% spent.
And having said that, are there, perhaps Britt or Payman, anybody decide they want to do that instead of planning? I mean,
In the future, right? But they're not going to be able to make that decision until later.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well,
because I think they're waiting to see if they're going to be.
That's also a question that could go to them, which is to say, do you want to take a sure thing now, okay, or do you want to roll the dice in a couple of weeks?
Okay, Britt and Payman. You guys waiting? You guys waiting to find out if you're on the planning commission? Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good for you.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So let's just get back to Arts and Culture Commission. It sounds like to me that Matt Gupta is interested, right? And we know that Camille McCormick came in and interviewed,
Correct.
and then Jacqueline did not appear today,
Correct.
or you have not heard from her.
Correct.
Okay. So as of right now, on the Arts and Culture Commission, we have Camille McCormick and Matt Gupta. Am I missing anybody?
Unless Mac wants to serve on the bond commission.
At this point, Mac has indicated arts and culture. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So it's Jacqueline, Camille, and Mac for arts and culture. Go ahead.
So Jacqueline was not here.
She's not here, right? So if people want to vote for her,
Oh,
they can
okay.
vote for her if they
Okay.
want.
Councilmember Bracco. Councilmember Fugazzi.
So Mac is not for the library thing, or he may
Mac is interested in arts and culture.
only. Okay, so then that is Camille and Mac for arts and culture.
Councilmember Hilton.
Camille and Mac.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Camille and Mac full term and Jacqueline partial.
Councilmember Klein.
Camille and Mac, and I'll do Jacqueline as a partial.
Mayor Bozo.
Camille and Mac.
Okay, so we have Camille McCormick and McCann Gupta that have been appointed to a full term on the Arts and Culture Commission with a term ending December 2029.
Okay, so thank you very much. So just to be clear, Janet, we know that you're down here for the Library Commission, but as City Administrator said, at this point in time, that is going to be on hold until in the event that we find a quorum for that.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for sitting through that. Appreciate it. Let's move on to item number 5. We have the consent calendars, item 5.1 through 5.6. Any questions from staff, council? Let's go to public comment.
Ron Kirkish.
Hello again, all. When I read this, I was concerned about item 5.3. I am very concerned about issues regarding clean energy, yada, yada, yada. Also, when speaking to a friend, I was instructed that this is a mandate from Sacramento that we have to have these cars, these EV cars, and that this is a gift or some kind of grant from Silicon Valley Energy, and it concerns me. There's a saying that beware of Greeks bearing gifts, and in that case, it was a Trojan horse. And I am very concerned that this addition to our EV fleet, what is it going to cost us? What's behind the scenes? What are they going to expect out of us? What are they going to require of us to take this? It bothers me. Also, there are mandates coming down from Washington, D.C., that these mandates out of Sacramento or from our governor are being overturned by our president, by our government. And so to say that we have to do this because it's mandated, I think at this time we have to weigh that whatever is mandated by Sacramento could easily be overturned and has been overturned. Natural gas, for instance, is overturned. The city of Morgan Hill is being sued by the federal government. I think they're going to settle out of court on regards to natural gas being used in new buildings. So I'm concerned about this EV fleet thing. The EVs are more expensive. They're very costly to repair. I think I sent you all a couple of emails today about my concerns and the fact that Hertz has dropped their EV fleet, 20,000 of them. Other rental cars have done the same thing because of the expense. So I would sincerely appreciate you to seriously reconsider this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more public comment?
I have no more speakers.
Comments from council? Yes, sir.
Joe, this is for the Chargers, right?
Correct. Charger and a vehicle as well.
Make a motion.
Okay.
Accept the consent.
I have a motion from Councilmember Klein and a second from Councilmember Bracco to approve items 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 4, 5, and 6 of the consent calendar. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez? Yes. Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much. I'd like to take a few moments to talk about item 5.5. This says the consent the city administrator's recommendation to appoint Raisa de la Rosa to department head position of economic development director. Just want to say to Raisa how excited that we are to have you here today. And for the public, just in case you don't know, economic development is something that this council came together on very early as a new council, and then it was part of our strategic plan and our new budget to have an economic development director working inside City Hall for the first time ever. So congratulations and welcome to Gilroy. Thank you very much for being here this evening. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to bids and proposals, item number 6. 6.1, award the purchase of a Rosenbauer Type 1 fire engine in the amount of $1,058,224.31, utilizing the Sourcewell tag-on contract number 113021-RSD. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the community. The Gilroy Fire Department is in need of an additional Type 1 fire engine, given the addition of the Santa Teresa Fire Station. Currently, a reserve engine is being used at the temporary station, and due to the lead time of about 27 months to receive a Type 1 engine, because it takes the time for it to be built and delivered, ordering now is an important necessity. Bids for a Type 1 fire engine were solicited using the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program. This is a statewide purchasing program that agencies throughout the state can tap into for purchases such as this. Quotes from Rosenbauer and Pierce were obtained and evaluated. Both of the vendors provided proposals that complied with the RFP requirements. The proposals included specifications, pricing, and delivery timelines. A committee made up of personnel from the Gilroy Fire Department and from the Gilroy Fleet Division evaluated the proposals. The evaluators included staff from operations, training, end user personnel, and our fleet maintenance team. The evaluation team focused on key factors, including but not limited to the operational use and standardization, training consistency, maintenance efficiency, parts availability, and long-term risk reduction. In the staff report, you have a chart that shows the different pieces of apparatus that we have currently staffed at each of our stations. And then we have some specialty and reserve equipment that can be moved around, but where that's located within the city as well. And then we do have a new Type 3 wildland utility vehicle due for delivery next month. And this will replace the 1999 Westmark Type 3 that's currently in reserve at the Los Animas station. So as I said, the committee really spent a lot of time analyzing both of the proposals. They thought about things like moving away from maintaining multiple different apparatus platforms. Currently, we have Rosenbauer, Pierce, and high-tech pieces of equipment, and they're looking for a more uniform fleet configuration. And our two newest Type 1 fire engines that we purchased in 2021 and 2022 are both Rosenbauers. And that helps with training by having all of our staff train on the single apparatus. Those are our newest in the fleet, and that gives consistency in our training on pump operations, compartment layouts, our hose loads, our cab features, and just how the vehicle handles when they're driving. And then Fleet also noted that Pierce parts and schematics are proprietary and often involve long lead times, where Rosenbauer provides readily available parts and manufacturer schematics, allowing for more efficient stocking and faster maintenance turnaround when we're repairing the engines. Pricing was very close, so it wasn't really a determining factor in the final decision because they were less than $20,000 apart in price. Though the Rosenbauer requires, we can get a discount for prepayment for the chassis, where the Pierce requires 100% prepayment. Given the lead time required, we're recommending that we move forward with the Type 1 purchase now. This is important because the reserve engine used at Santa Teresa now is a 2007 vehicle that is meant to be in a reserve status, not in a frontline status, because it's 19 years old. Once received, the new Type 1 fire engine will be housed at the Chestnut Fire Station, and the 2021 Rosenbauer Type 1 that's currently at Chestnut would rotate to the Santa Teresa Station because that's a station that responds to fewer calls than Chestnut. Upon council approval, the purchase order for the full amount of the $1,058,224.31 would be initiated. The prepayment required for the chassis, $545,393, will be expended in fiscal year 26, and then the remaining balance of $512,831.31 would be carried over to future years and paid out at the time of delivery. And as I mentioned, the city saves money by prepaying for the chassis, and so that's a savings of $110,864. So following council approval of this purchase, the interim city administrator would sign the purchase documents, the order will be placed, the chassis prepayment will be made, and then at various intervals over the build period, the apparatus team will participate in the pre-construction conference and inspection trips as necessary as the engine is being built, and travel and expenses for these trips are included in the purchase price. We have Chief Flea up here tonight. We have Division Chief Greg Lopez here this evening. And we also have our Facilities and Fleet Superintendent Walter Dunkel here this evening. So if you have any specific technical questions, they're prepared to answer those.
Just one question.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Just one question. How long is this, what is the recommended life expectancy of this apparatus?
So in Gilroy, we've tended to get a lot of use and life out of our apparatus, but Chief, you can speak to this, but it's usually 10 years-ish is frontline engine, and then it moves to reserve status.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hilton.
I just want to say thank you for, in the staff report under background, putting in the committee that was working on it. I appreciate that because oftentimes, we'll have to ask, was labor involved, was management, and that's just a good cross-section for us to be able to see that and who they are, and you got a great cross-section of engineers, acting engineers, all the way up to the manager level, so I appreciate you putting that in there. Thank you.
They're the ones driving it, and they're the ones using it.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Bracco.
Leanne, where's the money coming from?
The bulk of the money for this purchase is coming from Amazon. They provided $1 million to the city for the purchase of fire apparatus, and then $58,000 is coming from the fleet fund balance. You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to public comment.
Ron Kirkish.
Thank you, Leanne. That was excellent. I spoke to a few of my friends in the fire department about this issue, and they confirmed what Leanne said, that our fire trucks are ancient, and they're prone to going down and needing repair and expensive repair. So I am solid agreement that we need to purchase this vehicle. Also, I was also told that Amazon is going to be paying a major part of this vehicle, so I think it's a no-brainer. When I say that, it seems to not work very well, but hopefully you all will agree. Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, we need to do this in two action items. So the first one, I'll read it out. Adopt a budget amendment resolution in the amount of $1,058,224.31 to purchase a Type 1 fire engine. Need a motion?
I move.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez and a second by Councilmember Bracco. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rocco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. And the next, I'm going to do these together, so bear with me here. Award the purchase of a Rosenbauer Type 1 fire engine in the amount of $1,058,224.31, utilizing Sourcewell contract number 113021-RSD, and authorize the city administrator, interim city administrator, to execute the purchase contract documents.
I move.
A second?
I have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez and a second by Councilmember Klein. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi? Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving on to item number 7, unfinished business. 7.1 is the mobile vending ordinance and pilot program update. Take it away, Victoria.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the public. Victoria Valencia, Economic Development Manager for the City of Gilroy, here to report on the status of the mobile vending pilot program. The recommendation before you this evening is to receive the report and adopt a resolution to extend the mobile vending pilot program through October 31st, 2026, to allow additional time for evaluation and stakeholder feedback and drafting of the updated ordinance. This discussion began back in December of 2023, and we reviewed the Gilroy City Code, Chapter 16A, Article 2, relating to mobile food vendors, and the discussion related to that enforcement had been complaint-driven after the pandemic. There was an acknowledgement that the city code was outdated. It was discussed that enforcement could result in complaints from the vendors, and direction was given to review neighboring city regulations to modernize these options. Since December 2023, staff has returned to council several intervals for direction, with the most recent action being the approval of the mobile vending pilot program back in June and a subsequent guideline clarification in August. The pilot program established temporary pilot zones, time restrictions, operational standards, and a no mobile vending zone along Monterey Street. Since the start of the pilot program, a total of 12 applications have been received, and all 12 have been granted permits. 2 of these vendors are approved for city property. One is in the 4th to 5th Street parking lot behind Covale Tap Room, and the other is in the 5th Street parking lot between Gardner Health and CMAP. The pilot program has been effective in encouraging mobile food vendors to comply with permit requirements. However, several key observations have emerged. Most of the permitted food trucks prefer operating on private property within the no mobile vending zone if given a choice. Most vendors are operating multiple days of the week, not just on Fridays and Saturdays. There has been a limited interest in the 4th to 7th Street area of downtown in the designated zones. However, several vendors are operating on private property in this area with property owners' permission along Gourmet Alley. Some food vendors find the pilot program too restrictive. The pilot program does not allow any temporary structures, tables, chairs, pop-up tents, and food vendors operating on private property would like the ability to set up these items. Several vendors have expressed interest in participating in an organized food truck court. Establishing such a food truck court in the downtown area or anywhere in the city would require an event organizer to coordinate logistics, including vendor participation, portable restroom facilities, hand washing stations, and traffic control. Overall, the pilot program has improved regulatory compliance and engagement among mobile vendors while identifying logistical and locational challenges that may inform future program adjustments. There have been 2 incidents of approved food vendors storing their food trucks in public parking lots. The current pilot program doesn't address this, so we are recommending adding language that says vendors may not store food trucks or equipment in public parking lots or on private property within the no mobile vending zone. There are also references in the originally adopted resolution that state east and west on streets like 4th and 6th Street that don't actually have those designations. So we've recommended removing these from the proposed ordinance. Under operational standards, one of the standards is that food trucks are not allowed to operate within 600 feet of an entertainment establishment. Because of the approved downtown locations, we are recommending adding the language, except as allowed by a special event permit or at an approved downtown location. Staff is recommending extending the mobile vending pilot program through October 31st, 2026 to allow for a full year of data collection and additional stakeholder engagement through the summer events. Staff will return to council in the summer of 2026 with another update and a draft ordinance for review and potential adoption in September 2026. Extending the pilot program through October will provide a necessary transition period as ordinances typically take effect approximately 30 days after the final adoption. So the recommendation before you again this evening is to receive the report and adopt the resolution to extend the mobile vending pilot program through October 31st, 2026. And I am happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. We'll start off with Councilmember Fugazzi, and then we'll go to Councilmember Hilton.
First of all, I want to say that I think this has turned out really well in terms of the organization of the area comparatively. I know, having spent a little bit of time up north of us in San Jose area and whatnot, if you let this just become whatever it wants to become, it really is not becoming for a city. It just becomes the Wild West. And we were starting to go down that road, and we reeled it back in a little bit, and we're definitely learning some things from that. One of the first questions I have is, before we enacted this temporary approach, there were some vendors that we would see downtown quite often that seemed like legitimate vendors, but that are not in our list. Our list seems fairly monolithic in terms of the types of foods that are offered in there. For instance, we don't see things like, Brothers Lobster, the baked potato people, the spaghetti guy, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have any information as to why those particular vendors did not decide to apply?
Some of them just chose not to go through the process, and they've been focusing their efforts elsewhere. Others weren't licensed in Santa Clara County, and we're hearing that sometimes that's often the biggest hurdle that these vendors have to face.
So we didn't reach out to any of them, which is fine, and we're just not getting any coming back from them. But we do know, and I know that based on some of the county health enforcement that happened before this, that some of them were also not registered. So I also wanted to put it out there a little bit that some of the reduction in these vendors has to do with the fact that they are not in compliant and they don't want to become compliant. So it's not exactly this enforcement. Now, you had in there also another question that they would like to have a food truck court. We have made available to them the 5th Street area that they could quasi make a food truck court out of that. What's the feedback as to why people, except one now, are not utilizing that space?
The comment I made earlier about wanting to operate on private property, many of these food trucks were already operating on private property, built their customer bases, So I don't know if it's competition, not wanting to be directly in the center of downtown, but only the one has expressed interest in wanting to be there, and the others have found their other locations outside of downtown.
Okay. And, the last thing was on the parking. I know I sent you an email. We have some repeat offenders, let's just say, in terms of parking in city parking lots with their vehicles. I think what you have there is correct, but there needs to be some sort of pain in terms of if they do it and if they repeatedly do it or what have you, that there's some suspension of their ability to vend here. That's my feedback on that, because it's clear that whatever amount of talking to that the city has done to this one particular vendor, it really hasn't sunk it in, because it's probably on the 4th or 5th time now that they've been in that same parking lot. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton.
Thank you for putting this together. Thank you for working with us. This is one of those policies that came from us, so I know it's hard to sometimes, gather up everything that we want and then put that policy into play, and you have a website and all this language and stuff like that. And I think that we're creating, really good templates on the website as far as like being able to like name and title certain places. I just hope you have like a feedback loop that either it's someone on the council that's passionate about this, or the economic development director or city administrator, just someone to bounce it off of, because there's a lot of areas in there where we know what we're talking about. But when I've been trying to help other outsiders like get involved in this, they're like, well, what is the 5th Street lot? Is that the 5th Street downtown parking lot? Like, it's, little confusion and stuff like that. So, but I think that's totally fine to work that out over the year. I also look at this as these vendors are kind of like our partners, right? They're our partners. And, I'll go ahead and name Fire and Slice, because it's been annoying me too. And if you go there right now in the railroad parking lot, they're parked there again. That hurts. That hurts, because I know you've talked to them. I know people personally have asked them to stop doing that. So I do think that there needs to be something in there, whether it's, nothing that needs to rise to us per se, but maybe something like, hey, if repeat offenders could get their name off this list, and that approval would go to the director level. I think it's perfectly appropriate for you guys to do that. One other thing I was going to say is that I know we already have in our code that they're not allowed to store on the street, but they do store on the street. So I don't know whether that needs to end up in the policy itself, or that's just like, don't worry about it. But I think that if they're repeat offenders, they get parked on the street, stored on the street. I think that that's something that should be called out. The two other feedback that I had is somehow we need to let them know about the sign ordinance, because Tacos Del Goro, big flashing light, sign and stuff like that they had digital display, and that's not allowed. And I know that they got talked to about that, so that's perfectly appropriate. But also that same exact company was out on New Year's Day, parked right in front of Monterey Road, where they know they're not supposed to be. They know that. And did they do it because they knew staff was not going to be in town? I don't know. But to me, I want this to be a partnership. I think it should be. There's not that very many of them. And, we heard a lot from the food truck folks is saying, they're like, hey, these are local jobs. These are our people. So there's got to be some respect there. And to me, when I see those kind of things, it seems to me it's just kind of like a punch back, and it doesn't feel good. Thank you for listening.
Councilmember Ramirez.
So I agree with the comments made by my colleagues up here. I have more of a technical question. So you made a couple of recommended adjustments to this pilot program. And then I'm hearing, I agree that there should be some consequences, for not following the rules. We've established the rules. If you're not going to follow the rules, you don't get to play in the sandbox. So when we're looking at, adopting a resolution to extend it, can we somehow put that language in there as well, to extend it with the modifications recommended as well as the consequences? How would we do that?
Yeah, I can chime in. So I think what I'm hearing is the interest is there for obviously any kind of permitting, licensing, ordinance that will come before this council will have a section for revocation and suspension that addresses that issue. So you can fully expect the ordinance, whenever it does come before you, to address that. What I'm hearing is, as part of this pilot program, that the council has a desire to also include some sort of a revocation or suspension and delegate that authority to a department head or a city administrator to do that.
Yes.
So I think
I don't want to wait to the fall. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like it to be implemented now.
Sure, yeah, you can certainly give that direction before adopting the resolution to make that amendment. And I would just say, delegate that authority to the city administrator or designee, and staff can work through that piece.
So do I do that in the motion, or?
It'd be part of the motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Councilmember Klein.
Just like to say, you've put up with a lot of different directions, but you've done a great job with us. Really appreciate the hard work you've done, so great job.
Thank you.
I also concur with my fellow council members, all these things we want to put in place, so go for it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bracco.
Yeah, I just want to point out that if you're going to go after them for parking in our city lots, there's other businesses in Gilroy. There's a tree company that takes up that whole 6th Street parking lot. He takes up the whole thing. You can't use it on the weekends. So I don't think we ought to just address it with the vendors, but also with others parking. And we have laws on the books that they can be towed out of there or cited or whatever we want to do.
Right. I just have a couple comments based on what Councilmember Fugazi said. This is more for the public, really. You talked about some of these vendors that originally were in Gilroy and then found out that maybe they were out of compliance and maybe are still out of compliance. And the public needs to know that it's not just being compliant in Gilroy. Some of them were out of compliance at Santa Clara County Health, and that's where all of this starts. And if you can't get a Santa Clara County Health permit, you can't get a business license in Gilroy for a food vendor license. So it's important that the public knows that there's a lot of these food vendors, they're not even getting past square one. And second, I wanted to comment and maybe just a little bit feedback. You did make a comment that some vendors are looking for like a food court type of thing, but originally that was the offer that was made by the city of Gilroy, is that we would help at 5th Street, and traffic control was offered, portable toilets were offered, and nobody took us up on that until very recently, just one, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. Let's go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
Okay, so back to us. I don't think there's any more questions for staff, it sounds like, but somebody wants to make an amendment to this motion that you're about to make.
Okay. So I would like to move that we receive the report and adopt a resolution with the amendments recommended by staff, as well as including some type of consequence for not following the rules, to extend the mobile vending pilot program through October 31st, 2026, to allow additional time for evaluation and stakeholder feedback and drafting of the updated ordinance. Did I capture that correctly?
Perfect.
Okay.
Second.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Ramirez and a second by Councilmember Fugazi.
Real quick, just a quick discussion.
Yes.
Did you capture in there about not parking on the city streets?
Yes.
You did, okay. I'm not going to play around with the motions, I support them, but just for discussion-wise, I just hope staff's open to me just calling out those things that are on the website and that approved vendor list that we have, just to kind of clean up stuff that I've noticed and people have given me feedback. So I'll send that through city administrator. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. It's past 8 o'clock. Thank you.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Council members. Joe Tsonga, Finance Director, presenting this item for you, which is the review and adoption of the Capital Infrastructure Reserve Fund and the related funding policy. Some background context to this: the city adopted its biennial budget as well as the work plan items in June of 25. The work plan item included a establishment of a parks infrastructure reserve In October of 25, we came before the council to have a discussion and get direction on that specific work plan item. Council gave us some initial feedback, and a few of the key items I've outlined here. One was there was an interest to expand the infrastructure reserve outside of just parks and recreation facilities to make it more broader to encompass general capital infrastructures. As well as there was an interest to establish a separate fund for this purpose. This would act very similar to the city's existing sidewalk reserve fund that we have. And the direction we got regarding the funding policy was to take $310,000 of one-time seed monies and up to 25% of year-end budgetary savings from the general fund expenditures. So we do this exercise. This funding policy is very similar to the pension and the OPEB funding policy. We do this exercise annually at year-end. We take a look at the general fund savings, and then whatever the savings are, up to 25%, we allocate to fund the Section 115 trust for pension. The next 25% goes to the OPEB, and now this is a third funding policy would go to the so-called Capital Infrastructure Reserve Fund. The policy is included in the packet there, but again, key elements of there are the funding, which I just discussed. In addition to that, we have outlined some permitted eligible uses and ineligible uses. Eligible uses include your capital infrastructure projects, beautification and community enhancement projects at the entryways and such, parks and recreation infrastructure. And also there was an interest by council that we want to be able to utilize these dollars to fund any kind of infrastructure related planning or studies. And last but not least, we're recommending adding the last element, which is the leverage for external funding. Oftentimes when we are able to successfully secure grants, there is generally a match requirements that could be either in personnel staffing costs or actual hard dollars going towards a capital project. So we want to reserve that flexibility if we are able to secure any kind of parks or trails grants in the future, that we're able to utilize those funds as matching funds. On the ineligible uses are, again, ongoing operations and or maintenance costs for maintaining infrastructures would be an ineligible use, personnel salaries or benefits, or generally just a catch-all statement for any programs or services that do not directly relate to capital infrastructure or qualifying setting or planning would be an ineligible use. From a appropriation, so once these dollars are set aside, how do we plan on spending those dollars? Very similar to the sidewalk replacement reserve that we have. All appropriations will be subject to City Council approval, either through the biennial budget development process, the capital CIP improvement process, or last but not least, once we have an adopted budget, we have an opportunity to amend budget throughout the year, but it would, again, trigger a council action. So that concludes my presentation. The recommendations before you are to, again, review the draft policy if you have any input on that. Otherwise, we do have a resolution that establishes the fund, and the Exhibit A to the resolution is the funding policy. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
First of all, the language in the beginning said up to 25%.
So that's, if I can answer that now, or I can wait, but it's essentially, we have this similar language in our pension and OPEB. It's basically providing additional flexibility. One of the other elements that I've included is, general fund has to, at all times before we make such transfers, meet its 30% reserve policy. So up to 25 gives us that flexibility. If we're not able to, in order to meet the 30%, if we're only able to transfer 15% in that given year, we have that flexibility, and we would come before the council and make those recommendations.
Okay, and the second thing is on grant matching. Is there a limitation to what kinds of grants? Are they going to be all infrastructure type grants?
That's the intent. It is all going to be infrastructure-related grants.
So you can write that in there, be more specific about that then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Councilmember Hilton.
Can you? I want to do some scenario stuff with the up to 25% because I'm kind of clear, but well, first of all, I really appreciate this council and staff going through this process with us. This is something that we specifically put on our work plan. We asked to do it through the budget. Taking year-end savings of the general fund, it matches the values that we hold right now. Parks and capital infrastructure and beautification is something that we all have been talking about, but it goes down into our commissions too. But I'm not sure what you mean about like if the general fund can only have 15%. Let's say we have $1 million, and the general fund needs to take so much, and everybody how would we not get up to 25%, or how would the general fund out of $1 million or even $100 not get its share?
Yeah, I think because this is tied to the general fund expenditures, obviously we're not, we're looking at, you have a $77 million budget necessarily, right? If there is $1 million in savings, generally speaking, we average around $1 million. If we were to layer in the three policies we have the pension, the OPEB, and now the capital infrastructure, up to 75%, so $750,000, would, from a savings perspective, we subject to transfer to these various elements. At the end of the day, we also do forecasts. So say we're in that element now. So if we were to approve that tonight, if my forecast I'm bringing before you, I anticipate, because I have notification that sales tax is going to come in lower, and that's going to drop the general fund reserves fund balance below the required 30%, we want to have that flexibility to say, hey, yes, $750,000 is the true, transfers through these three funding mechanisms. However, we're recommending something less because we want to be able to maintain the general fund 30% reserve, so the general fund reserve doesn't, dip below the reserve levels. Because if we do, we address one thing, but now we have to address something else. So it's just.
Can I follow up on that?
Yeah, maintaining the flexibility.
Couldn't you change the language such that it says after funding to meet our 30% obligation of reserve?
Prioritize.
That it receives 25% and get to the same point?
I think we're saying the same thing, that we would at all times meet the 30%. That's the intent. And then once the 30% is met, if it's 32%, whatever have you, I think.
Yeah, but you never have to have the up to if the language was flipped around and it said 25% of the remaining dollars after meeting the 30%, it would never be up to 25. It would be 25, and there wouldn't be any other.
It's always 25%. I see
just the flexibility. Again, I'm not hard set on it.
But maybe we don't want to give future councils that flexibility.
So that's my point, is that we all understand this conceptually. The new city administrator understands it. You understand it.
Yeah.
But future me that doesn't know this, or future you, could easily say, we just don't have it this year. And you could be like, oh, how did they fight to get that?
Or we want some funds for this other thing, and it says up to, so let's do 15% and give the other 10% to something else.
And I completely understand the way that it went in August, I think is what it was. Like you are the director of finance, and you give the recommendation, and then it's ultimately up to us whether we want to sink the ship or take your thing. But I would like to have, I personally, that would be my fight, just to take that out and just
remove the up to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I would not remove the up to the way that it's written or the way that you've recommended it, because it is necessary the way he's written it and recommended it. But if it is written such that it is a percentage of the remainder of funds after meeting our 30% reserve level, then it can be that number. And even then, after that money is transferred with another council action, they could always move that money back around somewhere else anyway.
Yeah, again, this is all subject to council, so I am not going to be the one approving it. I'm just recommending it. I'll be before you, whoever's, if I'm not here, somebody else is before you. It's part of the year-end report, and that's when these, by policy, we make these decisions. Recommendations before you, ultimately, it's up to the council. If they take the 25% recommendation or something less, whatever have you, again, it maintains the flexibility, so you don't have to go back to amend the funding policy in a future time.
I mean, do you have an opposition to flipping the language?
I don't, yeah.
Okay.
And one last comment. The only reason why I'm kind of stuck on it too is that when you've come before us and you give us that year end, you always say like, oh, and just so you guys know, like, 15% of, I forget the number, but 15% is going to go to OPEB. 50% is going to go to our section 115. I've never heard you use the term, well, up to 25% is going to go to that. And so that's where it makes me leery. Maybe I just haven't seen that in there, but it makes me leery that you're like, yeah, well, this year it's not going to go that, but for some reason that's why I'm stuck. So sorry. Next person.
Councilmember Ramirez.
So remind me, let's go to the reserves, up to 30%, correct?
In the general fund?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
30% of your annual expenditures, yes.
So any given council at any given year could hypothetically say, this year we only want to give 25%. Because it's a recommended.
You can't violate
Well, that's what I'm asking. So what exactly does the policy say on the reserve?
On the general fund reserve?
Yes.
General fund reserve is you have to have 30%.
Okay, so you have to have, there's
that's
no
the general
up
fund.
to.
There's no up to on the general
on
fund.
the OPEB?
Yeah.
Same
The
thing?
pension, OPEB, and the CIR policies are basically taking up to 25% of the savings in the general fund's expenditures at year end and allocating it to these different mechanisms, right?
So those are up to.
Those are all up to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And council has the discretion, again, whether they want to increase one, decrease one, so that gives you the discretion to do that.
So we could have hypothetically said, well, we don't want to give up to that much. So any council at any given time, even though the recommendation is up to,
Correct.
would.
It would prompt the discussion.
Right, okay.
I have a question. Can you go back and show the eligibility page?
Yep.
One thing that I noticed is that it says Capital Infrastructure Reserve, the CIR. But to me, that implies something that has a lot to do with infrastructure, because it says it right there in the middle. But down on eligibility uses, it's a little bit more broad. In particular, it says beautification and community enhancement. That could be a lot of things. Is that okay with everybody? Could that be flowers, trees, art?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I think that was the desire, council's desire. That's why we added the beautification and enhancements.
Great. Okay, public comment.
I have no speakers.
All right. Where are we at? Are you guys comfortable with the discussion so far, or do you need some particular language?
I'm comfortable with the way it is.
Yeah, I think I'm more comfortable with it now that we talked it out. And I think that hopefully the future of all of us that's in this room can recognize that those reserve fund policies that we create as a council, that the director will give us the recommendation of up to, but yet it's still, hey, you guys want to move some stuff around? You can move some stuff around. So thank you I learned something new tonight.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Bracco and a second, I think, by Councilmember Fugazzi to adopt a resolution establishing a new capital infrastructure reserve fund and funding policy. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Bozo?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Moving on to item number 8, introduction of new business. 8.1, review draft requests for proposal and adopt a resolution appropriating $310,000 for preparation of the Parks and Recreation Trails Master Plan. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, community members. Tonight we are talking about sort of the next step in the policy process that was communicated the last item. Background a bit, your Parks and Trails master planning efforts occurred more than 20 years ago. Obviously, you better than anyone would understand that a lot of things have changed since that time. Population increases, expansions, new things, the school district splitting parks and schools up. A lot of things have happened. Also in that mix, the trails side, particularly the paved recreational trails, have been taken up by a lot of new equipment, electric vehicles, bikes, scooters, and skateboards, and every other kind of thing that you can attach an electric motor to. And those have changed the nature of some of those trails and the experiences that people are having. In that, we are basically looking to update that master plan and to move forward beyond the general plan that was adopted several years ago now. And also that this master planning would be foundational to future impact fee studies potentially with this deal. At this point, we don't have a specific parks impact fee. It's something the council or future councils may wish to contemplate. This effort is supported by your own work plan, as was referenced to some extent tonight in the prior item. It is also supported by your adopted capital improvement program, which includes a current unfunded project for the master plan update. The Parks and Recreation Commission have wholeheartedly supported the effort, and the Planning Commission, to some extent, made condition of their general plan consistency determination on the basis that I would present to you their request that this item be funded, hopefully in the future. During the budget preparation, the council was asked to consider allocating additional funds to the parks capital improvement efforts, and with your policy that you adopted, you have done so. And in October, you deposited $310,000 as that one-time seed money. And again, you've now adopted a policy for allowing this to be allocated. And at this point, that's our purpose for being here, is to talk about your interest in pursuing this and to consider the draft RFP that was prepared in conjunction with this effort. I don't want to, I'm not going to go into great detail on this. Hopefully you've had a chance to look to some extent at the RFP itself. But the basic issue here is to get to a plan which is a bit different than the last one. This would in part coincide, if approved tonight, this would coincide with a lot of the work going on with the recreation assessment. That would be very helpful. And the timely in that regard. This also is going along with a lot of capital project work that we're trying to work through and look at prioritization. So the purpose of this would be to assess existing conditions, obviously, to assess the recreational amenities provided, create a vision for future parks. I heard that tonight and in the presentations by at least one of the applicants for the commission. Gather input, and ultimately to try to look at connecting funding, connecting future funding, connecting with maintenance obligations, replacement, and also understanding that there will be a continuing need and demand for new facilities as well. But how do you balance all of that? I think that's the critical piece, and what I think we're really looking at in this package is to look more closely at that balancing point and prioritization that will help you as the council, help the commission, help the planning commission ultimately in CIP, and work through that. So again, we would, as Public Works, lead this effort along with assistance from our friends in community development, as well as the recreation department or division folks as well. As we see it, the Parks and Recreation Commission would be the primary point of community input. Planning Commission would be also involved in this and regularly consulted, primarily to address land use related issues, but also just for their input and community input that comes from that process alone. At this point, we would lead the efforts with community development in terms of the community outreach and communications. I will note that this is different than what was done in the last Parks Master Plan update, which included a series of very extensive steering committees. And that's not unusual. On the other side of that, I think that a lot of work has been done. I think a lot of good work has been done within the community. I think there's a lot of goodwill between the commission's staff, the council, and the community that we can facilitate the needs of the community, give them a place to speak without forming that kind of committee. I believe the Parks master plan took almost 8 years the last time it was up, from beginning to end, in part driven by some of that outreach. That was the last I looked at it, I think. I've never seen 3 or 4 sheets up front with all the names of previous commission and steering committee members probably in any document. So I put that out there because simply you may think that this is going to be a long-term process to take and undertake and turn around. But this is a very expedited process line, and in part driven by the fact that this, as our recommendation would be, to not form such an advisory board. We can always come back and reassess that, and perhaps that may have to be done, or and we may bring that forward and concur that that has to be done. But at this point, we'd like to try this model if we could. So next steps, if you authorize tonight, we would finalize and release the RFP and go through the normal process. As noted in our in the staff report, we would look to have at least one Parks and Rec Commission member on the team that would interview consultant teams, and again, that input as part of the process. And ultimately, we would look at the consultant preparing the draft plan, as well as completing the environmental review, the California Environmental Quality Act work. Again, we're looking at 14 to 18 months after the hiring of the consultant on a extremely expedited timeline for this issue. But I think it's doable and certainly well worth the attempt to get there at that point. The recommendation is, again, to provide draft feedback on the draft RFP and hopefully adopt a resolution appropriating the $310,000. This would include creating a new capital improvement project, 900780, which is called the Parks and Recreational Trails Master Plan, and that would be added to the FY26 capital budget. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? I don't think I see any up here. Councilmember Ramirez, you're up there now?
Yeah.
And then Councilmember Hilton.
So just to clarify, so that there's no confusion, this is separate than the we've previously approved a park and rec assessment in terms of the programs that we're offering to the community. This is completely separate. This is the master trails and parks themselves. So it's not the programmatic piece of it. It is the master plan of our parks system.
It's the capital, if I could
Right.
do the chair, but yes, this is the capital improvement side of the equation, but it will always take into consideration desires for what types of activities are going on, and that's why the timing for the recreation assessment is important, because that will include conversations with stakeholders like Little League, AYSO, and a host of other folks out there, and that input is something that we can take also into what does that turn to in terms of the types of facilities that are needed. Do we need additional things? We also want to look at what standards are out there in terms of the national standards for what should we have for the number of play fields and playgrounds and things of that nature. They're at least guidance. We don't have to be beholding to those necessarily, but they're a place to start.
Right.
So they go hand in
I just wanted people to
glove.
understand that it's kind of in alignment, but two separate purposes.
Two separate processes, yes.
Thank you for the report and some feedback on the RFP. I've already provided that, and I think you captured it all, everything that we've done in the city. I think that you're spot on when you say we're not going to go out and do this over 8 years and create steering committees and all that kind of stuff because time is of the essence. But I wouldn't say that if we didn't have such an engaged Parks and Recreation Commission that's tied into this council, that's tied into you. You're the executive staff liaison for that. And you know that group also is out in the community, right? They got that pop-up tent now. They're out there seeking input. So I have no, I know that that they will get it done. And Second of all, I just want to say thank you to you and staff for listening to the commissions and listening to us to finally get this in front of us. When you came on board it was either like April or May, you sat in on that Parks and Rec Commission when they were doing their budget storm, sort of brainstorming of what they want to choose for, to pitch to us. And I think you could see that they were kind of at this crossroad, and you literally just grabbed the pen and the easel and you're like, you guys, let me help you out with this. So thank you for also including them on the interview panel too for the contractor that ultimately does this. So thank you.
Councilmember Fugazzi.
Yeah, I just want to add a thank you to all involved in this too, and us getting this pushed forward. I served on the Parks and Recreation Commission for some time, and year after year we kept saying, "Hey, we need to have this. Hey, we need to have this," only to be met with, "Yeah, well, there's no budget, and there's no way to get the budget, and there's no way, and there's no way," and it was like 2002 or something like that was. And if you're telling me now it took 8 years before that when they started, it's like wow. So I'm really glad to see this is moving forward, and again, the Engaged Parks and Recreation Commission on it, and hopefully get a great roadmap as soon as possible so we can, start finding how to make some of these things better for everybody in Gilroy. So thank you.
Okay, go to public comment.
I have no speakers.
All right. Any further questions or comments for John? Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to receive a report and provide. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The motion would just be the second part, adopt a resolution.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution appropriating $310,000 from the newly established Capital Infrastructure Reserve Fund to Project 900-780 to the fiscal year 26 capital budget.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Fugazzi and a second by Councilmember Hilton. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bracco? Yes. Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Fugazzi?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Ramirez?
Yes.
Mayor Boso?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. We had pulled item 8.2, so now I'm going to jump to item number 9, City Administrator's Report.
No reports. Thanks, Mayor.
And number 10, City Attorney's Report.
Also, same thing.
All right, thank you. Number 11, adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.